beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. Guess you can call it a podcast. You guys are here today to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think it's episode 3. And how was it? I was entertained again. So we're doing better. We're doing better than we were. So let's get into it, you guys. Oh, first and foremost, if you are new to the channel, welcome. It is a pleasure to have you. Please consider subscribing to the Beautiful People family. We would love to have you. Go ahead and like the videos, you guys. It does wonders for my algorithm, analytics, all of it. So there's that. It helps to push the video out, you guys. So the more likes I get, the more YouTube will refer me, or basically, put me up in their algorithm for people to find. So do me that solid. Go ahead and subscribe as well. It's free, completely and totally free. Means nothing to you. It's just a click of a button, but means the world to me, you guys. Let's make it happen. All right, so yeah, let's get into this episode. All right, you guys, we start off with Britt, and her and Mike are having dinner with his family. They came over, they had a chef over and everything. It looks like it's his sister, maybe her husband and children or whatever. Look, nice looking family, okay? Something is off with Mike. Once again, something is off with him. They're asking him about a baby. No, they're asking him how he's doing. The sister says, "How are you guys doing?" And he goes, "Time to have a baby." And like something is just off, you guys. I can't say it enough. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't know. But anyway, they go downstairs. Britt and the sister go downstairs. And Britt, hun, sweetie, you have to transition a little more, like talk to the family and tell them don't just sit up and look very awkward and off-putting or whatever when you are leaving the table. Like the whole thing was just giving a scene. And although it is, we're not supposed to know it. So they go downstairs. It's a nice looking house. They go downstairs. She's talking to the sister about when she started her insurance company. She said that her dad ended up transitioning, I think like 3 years ago. He passed away, and she had to do a GoFundMe because he was in the middle of switching jobs, and he had a $2 or $3 million life insurance policy that her mom couldn't get to because he was switching over jobs. And I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Like, from what I know, if you switch a job, if you quit or are fired or whatever, you can still pay into it. You have like the 30 days before your insurance is gone or whatever, or they give you the option, or at least they used to continue to pay into it. I don't know what that means, but anyway, she said that they couldn't get the money, so she had to do a GoFundMe. So she didn't want anyone else to be in that situation, so she started an insurance company. Okay, all right. Oh, let me also not forget the petty, well, not petty stuff, but the little stuff. Like she said she was a huge video vixen in when she was in high school. And I'm like, girl, in high school? What you're doing all over the videos when you're in high school? Because that's a little young. And we know what they call the video vixens. I'm not saying everybody was sleeping with everybody, but I don't know that it was a place that you would really want 16, 17-year-old kids. But okay. Then she says she used to date Rick Ross. She don't want to talk about it. She used to date all these flashy guys or whatever. And then she come with Mike, and he's so calm and understated, and he's like the real man. And I'm like, ugh, girl, you have definitely just shown your hand, because that means you did it with Rick Ross. And I'm sorry. There's not enough money. There is not enough money in the world. So, sis, and let me shut up. I'm not going to talk about her man now. I'm just going to say we see that, she like a little money, although she has her own business. Good for her. But, she's motivated by a little money. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But before we leave this scene, you guys, I also want to say they were showing like throwback pictures of her. Cute girl. However, especially before she started messing with her face and everything and all the makeup and stuff, back when people were natural. But her hair, that leave out, never wanted to be put in. Like the leave out was never in. It's always out. Let's just say that. The leave out is always out, and it did not ever sit well with her hair in the past and currently. It's a mess. Her hair is just a fool, you guys. All right, so we move. Then we get to a scene with Portia. She's sitting in a restaurant waiting for someone, and we find out she's waiting for Kelly. So she and Kelly need to talk out whatever differences they have or whatever. And Portia says, listen, this girl has so many different personalities. Matter of fact, she didn't say that in the confessional. She told her, and that shit was hilarious. She was lightweight, shading the shit out of her to her face. But let's start from the beginning. So she comes in. First of all, Portia orders a Hennessy margarita. Hennessy is so disgusting, and that is her fave. That is her fave. She love her some Hennessy. But when Kelly comes in, they do this little phony, air kisses or whatever. Oh, you smell good. You did too. That's cool. And then we get down to the shit. What's it giving? What's going on here? And Kelly is just like, well, listen, Portia's like, why were you guys talking about me, in such a way? And Kelly's like, listen, we weren't talking about you like that. We were merely having a conversation. And I just said, why did she take that girl's man? And that's how she said it. And I'm like, bitch, that is not how you said it. You said, I don't know why she took that girl's man. Listen, keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. And then she said, well, Shamea was like, well, maybe you should talk to her about it. Then Portia goes, oh, no, not my best friend telling me that, she needs to talk to me at her birthday party or whatever. And she's like, well, I don't think she really meant it like that. So this is Kelly kind of coming for Shamea's back or whatever, because what are you mad about, Portia? What are you talking about? I mean, she's getting conflicting stories, but that's to be expected. But damn, you turned on your bestie real quick. So in the confessional, Portia's like, yeah, Shamea knows I'm going through a lot or whatever, so why would she tell her to confront me? And I'm just like, damn, we turning on the bestie like that? Yeah, so Portia ends up telling this girl that she has different personalities, and she's like, and I don't know any of them. And then in the confessional, she's like, yeah, she got loud, loudest, loud. They all loud. And she tells this to the girl, and the girl is like, well, not the girl, we'll call her Kelly. Kelly's like, what? And she's just like laughing and smiling. And she also, she's like, well, you were trolling me. Kelly says this to Portia, you were trolling me or something. And Portia's like, yeah, I called you a troll, but now you're my treasure troll. And she's like, girl, okay, as long as I'm the pink one. And I'm like, girl, you just let her call you a troll? Like, you still let her call you a troll? So then it goes to the phony, oh my God, we have a crazy relationship, don't we? I'm like, y'all don't have a relationship at all. What are you talking about? And she's like, I just love you. I love you. And I will say this. Their energy together, I feel like if they could have really gotten along, maybe they would have been fun. Maybe they would have, had a good time together. But I'm not buying this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not buying this phony shit that they're giving right now. They're not done. It's going to come back up. They don't really like each other for real. And I'm quite sure it's, like I said, it's going to come back up. But in the meantime, we move. All right, lucky us. The next scene is Drew singing. You guys, she sings just fine, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear her. I don't want to see her. I don't want to nothing her. Like, I hate the fact that Drew is still here, but I may end up saying that every time. I'm sorry. But anyway, so she's singing, can we fall in love for a minute? And I'm like, who the fuck you trying to fall in love with? Ralph? Because, But I understand we as women, we have to, love them until we don't. But girl, it's over. He's living in the basement now. So let's let that go. I definitely would not be singing no love songs going through a divorce. So anyway, she has Cynthia, Kenya, and Angela come to the studio. So Kenya's asking Angela about, number one, has she been married before? She says no, this was her and Oak Charles Oakley. It's their first marriages, both of them. She's like, well, how'd you guys meet? She tell her that it was in an apartment building. They stayed in the same complex or whatever, and he pushed the elevator button for her. And she was saying how she would talk to the front desk or the concierge about what he has going on. How many times has this person been over here? And she's like, why would you not use the front desk or them, when you try to find out if you're wasting your time or not? Has he gotten a whole lot of massages? What's going on? And okay, I get it. You guys, I was watching somebody's review. I cannot remember, but they said she is so frantic to be married to Charles Oakley. And she is. I mean, I guess that's cute or whatever. Some of us are, my man, my man, my man. However, listen, girlfriend, if it were not for the fact that Charles Oakley played on the Bulls, I would not know who he was right now. I only know the name because he played on the Chicago Bulls. But that's neither here nor there. She can still love her man, her man, her man. I'm not mad at her. Y'all, Drew lies so much, and she do it with a straight face, which makes her extremely dangerous. So Kenya's asking about Dennis, and he's supposed to be here. He's a producer, and she's trying to do everything but answer the question. But Kenya is holding her feet to the fire. No, 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 no. I asked you a question. How about you answer the question? And she's like, yeah, he's supposed to be here. And she's like, well, did you guys talk about the whole situation with Portia? And Drew's like, well, we don't talk. We don't talk on the phone. Listen, it's strictly professional. And then the producers, Bravo, they show back where she was on the phone with Dennis. And she's like, oh, hey, bro. She's like, we're strictly professional. And she has him as Dennis, bro, in her phone. She's just a liar. You guys, she's such a liar. So Kenya starts out like, what's really going on? And Drew is like, oh, there's always been a lot of attacks on me. I don't even know where that came from. But Kenya's like, listen, Drew, you cannot play the victim. And she's like, I'm not playing the victim. And she's like, a lot of this stuff you brought on yourself. She's like, listen, I love you, but in this situation, you are dead ass wrong. You were supposed to talk to Portia before working with her baby daddy. And I hate that term, you guys, but I'm going to say it because, that's what they've been saying. You're her kid's father or whatever. So Drew is just like, no, I attempted to talk to Portia. I text her. We were supposed to go out to eat. So basically, she's just been texting her and she's not come out with it. She's not called. And in the confessional, Cynthia's like, listen, you have to call. Like, you didn't really try that hard. And so then Cynthia tells a story like, okay, Kenya wanted my child's father, Leon or whatever, to be in a movie. And before she asked him, she asked me just to make sure that it was okay, kind of girl code type of thing or whatever. It's not asking permission. I mean, kind of it is, but it's what you're supposed to do, basically. It's total girl code. So Kenya then says, yeah, you were supposed to ask or whatever because Dennis is out here and what's her name? Drew is just making it seem like it's not a huge deal. And Kenya's like, yeah, but you're looking like a whore. And she's like, Dennis is scot free, but everybody's talking about you like you're a whore. And in the confessional, Cynthia's like, not a whore. She was like, maybe a hoe. She's like, a hoe is kind of a compliment. And I'm like, is it? Is it, Cynthia? And she's like, but a whore? Oh, that's no good. And then when she said it, Drew is like, what? And that drives me crazy, you guys. All the faces that she making, she's so surprised. And I'm like, girl, stop acting. Like, stop showing that you're acting. We know that you guys be acting, but we don't want to know it and we don't want to see it. She's a terrible actress. I don't know that to be true. I don't even think I ever seen anything that Drew was in other than The Game. And I can't remember how she did. I just know I didn't like her because what you kissing Derwin for? Anyway, I digress. Like, I went on a whole nother tangent. So King is just like, listen, where's Dennis? Why can't he speak up for you? Because she's going on this whole thing about how they are strictly friends. It is strict friendship, even though she calls him bro. She got him in his bro, whatever. It's strict. It is strictly business. And she's like, yeah, well, Dennis is fine. Dennis is very professional. Like, she's going on and on about Dennis. Drew is. And she's bigging him up big time. And King is like, yeah, while everybody's talking about you, like, you're a whore. And then we get Cynthia in the confessional, like, not a whore. She said, a hoe. Okay, that's kind of a compliment. That can almost be a compliment. I'm like, no, it can't, Cynthia. It really can't. But she's like, a whore? That's horrible. And then we have Cynthia saying, well, have you talked to Shamea, girl, since she the one that really kicked it off? And then we have Angela, of course, jumping in, like, yeah, we went out. And I just came out and asked her, like, why did you ask Drew, is she fucking Dennis? And one of them was like, oh my God, did she say that? What's her, Cynthia? Yes, I cannot unhear it. So then they do a flashback to where she clearly said, are you dating Dennis? Are you seeing him like that? She never said, are you fucking with him? I mean, are you fucking him? So what's her name? Cynthia, I don't know what you can't unhear because you didn't hear it. But now, once again, we are making Shamea the villain. I don't get it, you guys. What's happening here? Like, what are we trying to do? So Kenya even said that she heard it. And I'm like, y'all did not hear it. Y'all did not hear that girl say, are you fucking him? She clearly said, are you dating him? And they did the flashback. So it definitely was, are you dating him? So then the girl, Angela, says, yeah, she was so rude or whatever. And she stormed out. And I'm like, well, have a nice drive. Be safe. And I'm like, oh, I don't like her. I don't like that big bitch. I don't like her. So they leave it with Cynthia saying, well, Drew saying that Portia did text her after the party and was like, we need to talk. So they're going to they're going to meet up or whatever. And they were all like, well, that's good. That's what you guys need to do. And Cynthia's like, I'm just going to say this before you meet with her. Baby daddies hit different. And I'm like, do they? Do they? You guys? Ugh. I just feel like that is such a misconception. It just depends on you and how you guys feel. And I'm not even talking about dislike or anything. I'm just talking about the fact that, yeah, you guys share a kid. So you're kind of stuck together and you're kind of like family in a sense. However, baby daddies can't always hit. Like, I hate that narrative. I hate the fact that, the whole, oh, baby dad. No, absolutely not. They don't hit different. Shit. They don't. That is my kid's family member. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing. Y'all would really think that I hate my daughter's father. I don't dislike him at all. But I also don't like the narrative that they are a huge deal. I just don't. All right, next we get a scene with Shamea and her sisters. And apparently, Shamea is the baby girl, like myself. And she's saying how her two older sisters really help her out because she used to be at the hospital a lot with Shiloh, her youngest daughter with the health issues. And she was saying how Shia, her oldest daughter, would sometimes be like, Mommy, I don't want you to go to the hospital. I want you to stay here with me. Let daddy go. And she's like getting choked up and crying. And I just feel so bad. Shamea has a real actual, and I won't even call it a storyline. She has actual shit going on in her real life. And so far, she's the only one. She's the only one. And they're trying to all turn on her and shit on her. And she's the only one that has something really going on. And she's saying how she wants to do the IVF again, or, she wants to do a surrogate. She wants to like really have another kid, but she's hoping that she has enough love in her heart. And yeah, I mean, I just feel so bad for her. She's going through so much and she's going to have her hands full. She already has the two girls and the one with the health issues, and now you want another new baby? I don't know. It just seems like a lot. However, she has a $9 million house, so I'm sure she can have help. It's just not the same. But listen, kudos to her for, wanting to do it and want to give her man another baby. Good for her. Better her than me. We'll say that. All right, we have Charles Oakley and Angela. And let's just wrap this up real quick. Apparently, after he was kicked out of Madison Square Garden, I don't know why he was kicked out. They just said that the guy, I guess the owner of, is it the Knicks or whatever, didn't like him. So he had him banned and kicked him out. And I guess he went through a thing and they had just gotten married and he needed to heal. What the fuck does that mean? Why does he need to heal from being kicked out? And what does that have to do with his marriage? So they live separately and just dumb shit. Just dumb shit. And she is just laughing when she's saying it. And I'm like, it makes absolutely no sense. What are you talking about? Like, what are you saying? So she wants to do a vow renewal. However, they have these three houses that they're working on, and Charles is just like, no, not right now. And she's talking to him, and she's talking about the therapist, and he's like, yeah, $3,000. She should be your favorite person. And she's like, it is not 3,000. It's like 1,200, and we need her. And she kept saying, we just really, really need her, and we need her for our marriage. And I'm just like, damn, they be going through it, huh? And his attitude, I can see why. He's just like, and she's like, if we're going to be together for another 10 years, and he's like, 10 years? Ooh, that's a long time. And she's like, too long? He's like, I don't know. We'll see. And I'm sure he's playing. However, she make it sound like they got a whole heck of a lot of issues. Now we know that relationships it has its ups and downs, ebbs and flows, all that stuff. We get it. It's not always gonna be, honeymoon time. However, she sounded like they really, really, really need it. And I would just love to pick her brain about why he needed space because he got kicked out of a game. I don't understand that. But anyway, we move. Next up, we have Drew with her attorney. Her attorney is very loud and a little ghetto fab, but I'll allow it, I guess. So I was gonna fast forward past it because I don't give a shit about Drew, but it's fine. We watched it and we find out that I don't know what her attorney is doing, basically. So Ralph told the courts that he can't afford to move, which is why he's still living there. The judge was like, fine, we'll separate you in the home. And what she really wants to do is have everybody move out and sell the home. But they can't do that because, like I said, Ralph said that he can't afford to live anywhere else. But he hasn't turned over any financials. However, Drew has. And I'm like, what is she doing? What is this attorney doing? And she's so happy with herself that, oh my God, you're going to be so happy that the judge is going to open the files. And then, of course, Drew starts crying. What's going to come out? Girl, what's going to come out is everything that you told them. That he's a serial cheater, that he stole money, that he was stalking you, he was tracking you, all this stuff or whatever. Like, that's what's going to come out. What are you talking about? She starts crying. I just told my kids. That's what I'm afraid of. Girl, bye. Bye, okay? I understand why people don't get the fact that when you are going through a divorce, the person that you once loved is no longer that person. They're not the same person. Like, you really see someone's true colors when you guys break up and it's final and everything. And they're going to do whatever they can, self-preservation, like they're going to do whatever they can to make sure they are okay in your absence. I don't give a shit how understanding and cool they were when you guys were together. When it's time to go, I'm going to look out for me. And people just have to be aware of that and be ready for it. And I just feel like Drew's attorney, what is she allowing him to do? And then she's like, yeah, he's very manipulative, and once the file is open, everybody will get to see that. That's not all we need. We need his fucking financials. We need him to get out this house so we can sell it. Like, we need you to move and do some things. What are you doing, ma'am? I'm sorry. I wouldn't have her anymore. I wouldn't. And I know this was not about Drew's attorney, but if you're not working hard enough for me, I'm just gonna have to be out, because why did I turn over my shit and he's able to get off with not turning over his stuff? It's not fair and it's not gonna move. And then we find out that he was able to cross-examine Drew. He didn't have his attorneys there, so he cross-examined her. And I'm like, you all are just letting him do whatever. What is your attorney doing? Like, I mean, all right, flip side, she probably couldn't help that part. If he was saying he was doing it himself, I don't know. The whole thing is a shit show. But what else did we expect from Drew and Ralph? All right, you guys. Next, we have a scene with Portia and her mama, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't sit here and listen to her talk about this divorce with Simon that I really, really, really don't care about. I can't do it. But I will point out the fact that in the end of the conversation, she tells her mom that Shamea told what's that girl named Kelly, to say something to her and kind of confront her. And I'm like, Shamea is always going to bat for you. Shamea is the most loyal friend ever. And I can't believe what Portia is doing right now. And, her mom is just like, oh, well, you need to watch out for the person carrying the bone. And I'm like, y'all really about to do this to Shamea? Portia, what the fuck? She's a terrible friend. Portia is just awful because this girl has constantly had her back. This girl's fighting with, not fighting with, but she's telling Kelly and them or whatever, listen, what you're not going to do is talk about my best friend. So, we're going to have to talk about that. She's confronting Drew for Portia. Like, well, I have them both here. I just have to let it out or whatever. Are you dating him? All this stuff that she didn't have to do. And that's the problem. Everybody's been saying that, Shamea is going too hard for Portia. Like, you are coming off like a lapdog. And I don't see it as a lapdog. I see it as a loyal friend. But Portia, on the other hand, you're turning on her. Like, this is what we're doing. Third episode in, and everybody is shitting on Shamea. I don't like it at all. All right, next up, we're at this event for Kelly. It's at Balmain, and she loves Balmain and Balmain. And she shut down the Balmain shop, so whatever they buy, I think Balmain is giving 10% to her charity, which is basically about brittle bones, and we'll get to that later. So Kenya, Portia, Brooklyn, and Pilar get there, and they're all dressed. Well, Kenya's dressed like her baby, and Pilar's dressed like Portia. It's very cute. They didn't all come together, but they all came kind of around the same time. And Portia looks a little different. We don't know what's going on with her look, but she tells Kenya that this was a 15-minute look because she and Drew have the same people that do, I guess, their makeup and hair. And Drew found out that Portia was next, so she took forever. And basically, this is what, Portia had to end up with. And I said, I don't know, y'all. All this shit is just sounding real put on to me. Like, it's just giving storyline, made up storyline, but we'll see. And King is just like, y'all so petty. Again, I don't know how much I believe of it. Now, it's just too much. It's just too much. Next is Cynthia. She comes in with a terrible wig. That is all. She looks like an Amazon lady. She looks pretty, but the wig is awful. She goes to hug Kelly. Kelly is super loud. So I'm kind of with Portia, loudest, where she's on 10, 10. All right, you guys. So Shamea gets there, and so does Britt. And Britt goes over to Kenya, and Kenya very nicely gave her a hug. And I'm like, please do before this girl have a fit. Oh my gosh, you didn't give me a hug. She very nicely gave this girl a hug. And then we have Portia and Shamea talking, and Shamea's just like, oh, you talking about the girl from the 90s? Because Portia said something about Angela. And in the confessional, Shamea did her nose like Angela's, and it was hilarious. She sucked in her nose. And then when they showed it, her nose is bad. She got a really, 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 really bad nose job. And Shamea called it out. So Angela's over there talking to Cynthia, talking about should she confront Shamea, and Cynthia's like, oh Lord, I don't know. All right, so Kelly does a speech about what OI is, and that's the charity that they're buying stuff for. 10% of their purchase is gonna go towards this charity, and apparently it's for brittle bones. She told a story about how her daughter Chance, I think it's her second daughter, had something wrong with her arm, and she took her to the hospital, and they basically thought she was beating her kid or whatever, and they wouldn't let her. They called police and everything and wouldn't let her leave. She said they were stuck in, did she say Boston? They were stuck somewhere, Baltimore, somewhere, for about a month, and then a doctor came and said it's OI, and then they finally let her go home. So it was nice. Of course she got all choked up and everything, and who wouldn't? So thankfully they figured out what's going on. I hate the fact that her daughter, she said 3 of them, has the brittle bones, and yeah, I hate that for them. Side note, in comes Drew looking a hot ass mess. She has on this black, there's not a ounce of black in her shirt. Her shirt is very colorful and flowery, and it actually looks like a Hawaiian shirt. And she has on this black bustier type thing, except for it's cut off. Like, it looks a mess, and she doesn't look cute. Her hair, nothing looks cute. So you would think that if she took so much time away from Portia with hair and makeup, she was gonna come in killing it, and absolutely not. Oh, for the record, I also want to say we saw who was doing Brit's hair, and I said, "Girl, you should be ashamed. You should have been like, don't show me, don't show me. You should not want to claim that." All right, so then we have Angela making her way over to Shamea and saying that, they need to talk or whatever. And Shamea's like, good, because I would love to meet Angela and not the representative. And Angela's like, well, the person you met was Angela. And she's like, oh, well, that was you? You speak on Drew's behalf? And she's like, yeah, I will. And she said, oh, well, then I'm cool on you. Like, we good. If that's how you feel, then you feel how you feel. And she's like, yeah, and you do too. Okay. And so Shamea's walking away like, listen, I am good on you. And Angela's like, oh, you're just a mean girl. Oh my God. Girl, you too old to be calling people mean girls. I swear to God, I don't think I have ever thought that about anybody. Oh, you're just a mean girl. Probably because I was probably the mean girl. I have been called a mean girl. But I'm a sweetheart, as you guys can see. So what's that all about? But anyway, so we go to commercial from there, and I just want to wrap this shit up. Okay, so I'm just gonna go off of memory of what I can remember in the terms of she called her 90s nose, and Portia's laughing at that, and then Drew wants to talk to Portia. And the girl Angela calls Shamea Flavor Flav and says that she's the biggest hype person. Then we find out that Shamea did go as Flavor Flav a few years ago on Halloween. And Portia's like, oh, Drew has all this courage. She wants to talk right now. And what's that all about? And then she sees that Drew's sister is there with her. So she's like, oh, I'm not about to deal with both of them at the same time. So she don't deal with them. So we leave it there. And I don't think I missed anything. Probably a couple of funny lines or something, but that's the gist of it. And I'm over it. This is my second watch, and I'm good. I'm good on it. Like Shamea, I'm good on it. But it was a good episode. It went by fast again. So it was cool. Again, if you are here and you made it to the end, you are the real MVP. If you are new to the channel, again, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you, and I will see you guys in the next episode. See you guys in the next video. Smooches.